This is Patricia Price again, and we're going to talk about vibrations. And many of you have experienced a high vibration or a low vibration in places or people that you're meeting. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the word ghost and the word spirit and the word haunting and so on. And just to assure you that as you come to Lilydale, that it's a very high vibration. People here are connected with love and healing. The purpose of all of us who are here, the healers, the mediums, the people who work here on even the most mundane level, are about love. We're about healing. And so that attracts the spirit, or even if you want to use the word ghosts, who are at a high level. They're very loving and they want to help and they want to facilitate healing. So as you come, you're not going to be haunted or scared by ghosts. You'll have the opportunity to work in with that vibration that we have here, to harmonize with that vibration and have an experience with your spirit loved ones, a healing experience and communication with the so-called dead. We don't believe that we die. We believe we just shed the body and we go on to the next dimension, and it's actually a celebration into the next dimension. So as you come to Lilydale, please don't think that you're going to be haunted by a ghost or have a negative experience. It's all about positiveness, about healing, about the love that Spirit could bring us, and that the angels abide to give us a beautiful experience here. That's why so many people come back and so many people find peace here. Don't go away now. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Shelley Takei, and I am pleased to share with you a Mari experience today. My guest today will be Audra. Welcome, Audra. Mari may be very new to you. I'm not sure if you've ever done it before, but I'm pleased that you're willing to participate today.
No, I've never known about it, but I'm anxious to, in a good way, to experience this and see what it's all about.
Great, let's go. So what we have here are 39 symbols of Mari, and what I'd like you to do is just glance at all of them and allow yourself to be drawn to 6 you like.
This one, and this one, and this one, and this one.
Okay. Now, what I'd like you to do is look at the symbols, the remaining symbols preferably, and see if you can find the one that you dislike or are least attracted to.
Yeah, I think this one.
Okay. Now, one more thing before I take the symbols away. I want you to think of an issue in your life that you would like to have guidance on. You're never going to have to share this issue with me. While you're thinking about it, what I want you to do is, again, look at the symbols and allow yourself to be drawn to 2 symbols that seem to represent help or guidance for that issue.
Yeah, I'll take this one and this one.
Okay. We're only half done. We're now going to add color.
Oh,
Okay. But so what will be most important to you is that the symbols that you chose and the feedback that I give you makes sense to you. That's why you never really have to share your issue with me, because as long as it makes sense to you,
Right.
as long as your guidance. So you want to bring your 6 over here. These are the 6
okay.
that you like,
Right.
that you chose as you
Okay.
like or are attracted to. And I'm just going to, so Audra, what I want to do, you're going to now match, you're going to find the color that you feel goes with each symbol that you like.
Right.
To start one at a time. Okay.
I'll take this one.
Now, you're also going to find the color that you feel goes with the symbol that you dislike or are least attracted to, and it doesn't have to be a color you don't like. It's the color that goes with
Right.
that symbol.
Okay, that'll be that one.
Okay, and now, while you still have that, find a color that makes that one better. Okay, does that feel good? In order for you to understand this template of how we're working with it now, I want to explain to you what the Great Round is,
Right.
okay? The Great Round is the developmental cycle of every living thing, okay? Represented here in a giant mandala. Each
Right.
of the three symbols at each stage are like smaller mandalas and variations of that stage, developmental stage. And it's philosophical as to how many times we do this. You know, the cycle of life
Right.
is basically what it is. So if this is the cycle of life, you can divide it in half here. This is a very Jungian tool. Everything above the horizon is more in the world, more conscious, more readily accessible, more easily understood.
Right.
Okay? Things below the horizon are more unconscious, other than conscious or subconscious. Okay?
So this
You-
is subconscious, this is conscious.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and that's how our brains
Right.
process.
Uh-huh.
Because our first symbol was the horizon line on the
Ah,
savannah.
right.
And this was developed before we understood really, this was in the 1970s, before we knew really a lot about how the brain processes forward motion through time. But when the new fields of evolutionary biology and psychology came in, this was spot on in terms of what they're finding with brain research. And also, I think on some level, we've known this for thousands of years. I mean, this is also the way feng shui works, that kind of thing. So you could further subdivide this into quadrants, and this first quadrant would be what we now would call the body-mind connection, okay? So I like to use the analogy of a tree. If this is a tree, and here in the world, at stage 7, the high noon of consciousness, this would be the fully formed tree. This would be the seed, the seed under the ground that we can't see. But this first quadrant would be the seed growing,
Right.
even though we can't see it. So you can make an analogy to your body. Like information comes in, and just like a seed needs enough moisture, enough heat, enough cold, everything that seeds need, similarly, that process happens to us. So we are bombarded in any second with 4 million bits of information, according to the latest research. Literally don't even process most of it. At the most, we're processing at any given time 2,000 bits of information.
Right.
But so we're constantly being bombarded.
So it's
Either
too much, it's over.
it would
Over
be.
the
We
top,
would be overwhelmed if we
Right.
picked up on every sound, every feeling, every sensing that we're experiencing.
Probably
that-
be psychotic.
Yes, we would be. What I'm talking about in terms of the stimulation is like information is coming in to us at all times. And this, of course, would be different for each person because some people feel the information, some people sense it. So, for example, this particular stage here is a place where we are processing information. A lot of this is done on an automatic level. We don't tell our cells to multiply. We don't tell our heart to beat. So much of it is just happening on an automatic level. But in terms of our own personal consciousness, then it gets into how do you know what you know? How do you know what you know? Do you feel like I get gut hunches and I feel it in my body, or I have to sleep on it, or I dream about it, or I wake up, no, that, because all of this body-mind synthesis is happening, and some people can become aware of how they know what they know, okay? So this particular stage is like the information comes into us, and how do we feel about it,
Right.
okay? So this first quadrant here would be any new beginning, which is here, has to start with the idea, or the sensing, or the knowing, what we're picking up first. And then a lot of times this is not clear to us, it's not formed. So it comes in, and then we go, this particular stage then puts form and discernment on it, shapes it, forms it, so that we can understand it and it can show up.
Right.
So in terms of a tree, at new beginnings, this is where the sapling would show
Oh,
up,
I
okay?
see.
Or the new
Right.
idea,
That's the
or,
midpoint.
pardon?
Sort of the midpoint of the tree.
Yeah, at the beginning, just like it's a beginning for beginnings for us could be literal pregnancy, any new idea,
Right.
a new business, I'm thinking of things in a different way, new beginnings are represented here. And that shows up as a sapling, usually under the protection of other trees. So this next quadrant would be any new beginning is going to go through developmental stages to arrive at full consciousness. So, at this particular stage, which is the stage where people feel they have to protect themselves, for the tree, that would be the tree laying down rings of protection that strengthen it, protect it through life. And we all do that too. The first time the child says no or mine, that's literally they're sensing another person in their world.
Well, they've established their territory.
And they are learning to negotiate power issues and what's okay and rituals and learning how to learn. All of that happens here.
Testing.
Exactly. Testing the environment. And then so I can make the analogy to, like, the new beginnings would be the child on the lap, and this next stage would be where you feel you have to protect yourself. A lot of times it's figuring out who's got the power on the playground, and it's all of that. And plus, in elementary school, if we use that analogy, there is so much learning how to learn.
Right.
Not only intellectual facts, but negotiating our way through life.
That's our socializing.
Exactly.
Right.
So the next stage, you could equate it to adolescence. However, at any age, we can experience any of these things, okay? But it's helpful to use the analogy of a teenager, because the teenagers, this is a stage of struggle, and the teenager feels the tension of the opposites. I feel this way, but I also feel that way.
Right.
And it's not clear. It's sort of like yin and yang before it comes together in the Tao. In the picture of yin and yang is perfect because each side is represented in the other, and there's a soft curving line. But before that line begins to curve, and it's still black and white, I feel this way, but I also feel that way.
Right.
So it hasn't resolved yet. And it resolves here. So here's the fully formed tree. So this one would be a tree's growing this way, growing that way to achieve balance. And here's the
trying
fully
out
formed.
things.
Exactly, exactly. So this quadrant, now we're in the world, this quadrant would be full consciousness. We arrive at full consciousness, and here full consciousness manifests in the world with one's own self and with others. And so let me just talk about this. So full consciousness here a lot of times has a sense of meeting the expectations of the world. They expected me to get married, and I did. They expected me. I had children. I went to school. That was expected of me, and a lot of times we may not be able to pick this if we didn't in some way. You can, of course, it's always possible. You can absolutely do everything your own way, and still feel good about it. But typically, it's going to often it registers. I should have. They don't. That kind of thing.
Remorse.
In some way. So there's a difference here between stage 7 and stage 8. Stage 7 is I've done what was expected of me. I've met developmental goals that are expected of adults in the world. Stage 8 is the difference between full consciousness. Stage 8 is full autonomy. Stage 8 is I've done that, met the goals, and now I'm doing it my way.
So you know yourself.
Exactly. So here's the fully formed tree, and stage 8 is like the tree puts out its own fruit.
Right.
Okay? So stage 9 is the only place where others show up, because for the most part this is going to speak directly to you. But any of us as individuals, are also related to people out there. So a lot is happening at stage 9. But also the stage 9 represents the flowering of culture. So you can look at this both from a microcosm of your own personal self and a macrocosm of this same thing, because its developmental cycle has happened in culture.
Right.
So for an individual, this could be equivalent to retirement, where we've met a lot of our own goals. We feel like we're leaving a legacy, or we're realizing we didn't and we're regretting it.
Right.
So it's a culmination stage. We become grandparents, maybe. We retire. We leave the legacy. But in terms of culture, this would be that culture we learn political correctness and all that is underneath that. And some of the symbols there are associated with the flowering of culture, like the rose windows and things like that. However, stage 9 also anticipates that nothing stays the same. Okay? And truly, our culture has a big problem right here. Here. We all don't, we're all like, no.
We thought we knew it, and it was so, and it's not. Right?
And it's all the things, stage 9 and the flowering of culture is anticipating that things are going to shift naturally, change, and end. There's never a right way to start. It's wherever I feel drawn. And so my feeling is, let's start over here with self and others, which was that interesting stage we were talking about a lot. From the colors that you've chosen there, I want to say that you have a great sense of comfort of being in the world. You have easy relationships in general with people, because you're looking at that stage first as there's not only healing but fresh new healing. Does that make sense to you in terms of whoever you are conceiving of as the others? Well, first of all, just knowing a little bit about you, I want to say you know and you sense, because it's your persona, it's what you do. People perceive you as healer. You're a healer.
Yes.
You literally help heal the body, but you do more than that.
Right.
So, and there's always a freshness about it, even though you've maybe been doing it so that what you're putting out there or what they're perceiving is, it's fresh, it's new, it's vibrant, and it's always within a healing mode.
Right. No, that's correct. And each person that I interact with is a new set of principles and a new identity.
And maybe even consciously, you bring that. You bring the new.
It's always amazing to me that it's always fresh, it's always interesting, it's always exploratory.
Very good.
And sometimes surprisingly.
All right. And also spiritual. And I think you bring an ideal to it. Like, the job you do, others might just see it as a job, but I think for you there's a certain ideal to it. There's always an awareness of all the possibilities. I'm talking to you now about one of the colors. There's depth, there's dimensionality, to the point of almost spirituality for you, and idealism in terms of what you do and your own life in the world.
Right, I agree with that.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good. So the next one I'm going to talk to you about, which is your own persona, remember we talked about, and now I'm doing it my way. So your sense of flowering in the world, which represents a very good sense of self-esteem and good autonomy, okay? Right. With a color of the thinker, but tweaked ever so slightly, almost like you're the hero or the heroine in the world with a mission. Does that make, it's more than just being a thinker, it's conscious. There's a sense of mission in what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
And with you as the person who's on that mission, very consciously, I mean.
Oh, right.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Should I comment on
Sure. You can tell me what that means.
Yeah. Well, as a massage therapist, I always wanted to bring healing to others, and that became my mission in life, really.
All right.
And it came out of a depression and a bad circumstance, and I said, let me do good.
Yeah.
And so let me be on that path of healing and good. And in that healing other people, I found it healed me as well.
What you have, it interestingly and beautifully, a nice balance between the energy that, because I want to say, I think a lot of your focus is in the world and toward others and what you put out there. I mean, I can literally do this with people that have no cards on the world at all.
Oh.
And their focus is very inward. And I'm not saying you're not, but I'm just saying what's showing up now is a very beautiful healing presence, spiritual, ideal presence in the world that I think you're very conscious of putting out there. And it's reflected internally in you in a nice balance of two cards, again, at a stage that's on the axis.
Right.
With so much energy, internal energy, like lifeblood passion about what you do.
Oh, true. That's very true.
Okay?
Yes.
And at the same time, and a very nice ability to heal, to be the healer and the mediator, to be able to heal and mediate what you put out there inside you. And it's like drawing on this wellspring, which this is what feeds it, your energy and your ability to intuit what needs done and put it out there. This may have something to do with it. This is the card you don't like, and it's speaking to endings. So whether or not that's relating.
It is.
Okay, so I'm going to put that on there, and also I told you to pick a color that makes it better. So without telling me what your issue is, you feel that relates.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. The interesting thing when I said what makes it better is that you put a color there that kind of represents the wounded healer. And the concept of the wounded healer is, I can go back to my own wounds
Right.
because I have learned from them. They have strengthened me. I've learned from them. I've grown from them.
Mhm.
And now they can become my greatest strength.
Uh-huh.
So there's a part of you that knows that,
Mhm.
that of a strength you can pull on
Mhm.
when you're dealing with this issue.
Mhm.
But we're going to save that for a minute. But just, I'm offering that now in case that makes sense and that comes
It
up later.
does, because I feel like I've been there before, and, you know, and I've existed, and I've been able, and I can go further with that. It's just, what do I want to do with that
Right,
situation?
right, right. Okay. Hopefully that what you just said will fit in too. Okay. Any questions before I bring your guidance cards?
No, it's been very
Okay,
clear.
because I think they're related,
Right,
okay? And again, please don't share your issue yet. but,
Okay.
In terms of your guidance cards, what's interesting is that you now do have all three at a stage of energy and and discernment and figuring it out. And the interesting thing now, I'm just going to talk about it in general, then I'll put it in relation to your issue, which I still don't know. But it's kind of saying bringing clarity and understanding into your energy, which would be a good guidance card, you know, relative to your issue. And your other guidance cards put you right back here in the struggle. So it's kind of a triple confirmation with the color that says, I don't know, yes, there's struggle, 2, I don't know how I feel about it, and 3, it's a guidance card to go back there and deal with it. Again, with, I don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
Okay? So, and then, because you picked this, I said, pick another one. Because it was gonna be we're not gonna get much information from this card. This is like, and I did talk about this a little, it's like chalk. They call it deer caught in the headlights. These two colors are like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know what to bring into it. But what you've brought into it is your strong feminine. So what I'm going to say to you is, with this issue, whether it is fully conscious for you or not, right underneath with this issue that I think they're related, the not wanting things to end and not knowing how to deal with the struggle, underneath you have 2 indications of strength. Strength as a strong female in the world, and strength that you can, and they're both kind of in the same color palette,
Right, yeah.
and strength as the wounded healer of, in fact, I'm sure they're related because your wounded healerness experienced things as a female. So you can call on your strength as a strong woman, but you can also call on your strength as from what you've been through before and how you've learned and grown.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let me just say it one more time. In relation to your issue, which I do not know, it's saying in your energy, make it clear, try to clarify and understand cognition in your energy to make it clearer about it. And don't just leave it unknown.
Right.
Figure out, with the clarity there,
Right.
figure out cognitively how to deal with this issue so you can move beyond it.
Right.
And at the same time, part of this will be calling on the strength that you have as a wounded healer and also as a woman.
Right.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
As an answer, because when you picked guidance cards, you were thinking of your issue, and these 2 things that I've just talked to you about are an answer to your issue, which you have not yet shared with me.
Right. It was interesting that this guidance card is similar to this one. I didn't really
You have all
realize it
3.
so much.
It's all energy, and I think that's because you're very conscious of your energy. You're an energy worker,
I
really.
am, right.
Right. So it would make sense that's
I do
where.
energy healing,
Right.
and it's like I feel my energy. I feel when I don't have it. I feel when
Exactly.
I have it.
You're very
Subconscious
conscious of it. Yes. If
I
we
see.
were going to work on this further, what I would help you. I would literally try to define and make more clear the strengths that you have.
Right.
Because the more you do that, the more you are creating a solidity about those strengths, and because you can define them and pull on them.
Right.
And then certainly with your guidance card and your energy, I would begin to enumerate and feel very clear about what I have to do. To some extent, we could do it through Mari, actually,
Right.
but I think you're clear enough about what it is you need to do.
Right, yes.
So it's like you're going to be pulling on two pools of strength and then beginning to articulate.
Right.
And I think recognizing, because you've probably articulated it, so many women I've talked to have said, I've already said that.
Right.
But that there's a clarity about it and maybe
Right.
an intention of saying it in a whole new way or something.
Right, and you just feel stronger in your purpose.
Yes,
And to hold
yeah.
on to your purpose.
Right.
And not go back into falling back and saying, well, gee, maybe I was wrong.
Right.
And really realizing that just to go forward with the confidence, I
Right.
think is the good thing about this. Because I picked these cards.
And I sort of did go away from that, but to go
Right.
back to that, you did pick the cards.
Mm-hmm.
And just so you know, there were a multitude of things that could have been represented with, it could have underneath, it could have been anxiety rather than the strong female.
Right.
Like, and then you're gonna have to deal with that, but you still have to deal with your anxiety before going right into your strength.
Right.
You did pick the indications of strength, so maybe that's the thing you'll get most from the Mari is,
Exactly.
I'm stronger than I knew.
Exactly. And but
My
when I think-
unconscious gave
right,
me
when I
different-
think of like even one card symbol, maybe you could put 20 different colors under it. So
Absolutely.
there
And
must be like maybe 400 different possibilities
Oh,
or more. How many
there-
possibilities are
3
there?
trillion,
Three-
because there's 39 symbols and
Right.
45 colors, and if you, anyway.
Right,
yeah.
right. And that you- yeah.
Many. Yes, and so I was just trying to, since I give this and see every variation,
Mm-hmm.
you could show toxicity, you could show old hurt and old pain, you could
Right.
show all kinds of things that are underneath
Right.
why I don't know or why I can't deal with it. And what you showed in both cases is underneath is strength.
Mhm.
So,
And it's interesting because I guess as we were going along, different feelings came up,
right,
and so it
right.
bubbled up in like questionable feelings, negative feelings, yes feelings, positive feelings. So there seemed to be a lot of process going on with me.
Good, yes, thank you, because
Yeah.
well, you're very conscious of your own energy and things,
Mhm.
but I think it happens for everybody, but for you, it was more conscious maybe than it is for somebody
Mhm,
else.
mhm.
What did you think of the, what,
I thought it was very good because it brought up a lot of feelings and thoughts and negatives, positive, and I felt I was really going through a process. Oh, that was great. Thank you
good,
so
thank
much.
you, you were a
Yeah.
fabulous person to do this with.
Hi, this is Patricia Price again, and I'd like to welcome you when you do get here. I hope that I am capable of being here and meeting you as you come, and we're going to wrap this up and tell you my website is www.patriciaprice. I'll be more than happy to see you. So many of us will be happy to see you here at the Angel House and here at Lilydale to explore and learn and find the truth and experience a healing, as so many do. So know that you are welcome when you come, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye now.